to see all of you. It's been 3 months continuously. We've been doing webinar on Zoom, and it's been quite exciting to meet people from around the world. And thank you so much for showing all the love and affection and compassion, and keep writing in that. Please send us some more details about the different topics which are coming in. Before I go ahead to the topic today, with Kathy over there, from Portugal, Lisbon. Okay, thanks Rahul for confirming that we're on live on FB as well. Thank you so much. So before we go ahead and also tell you about NLP and about Kathy and me, a quick people who know NLP. What is NLP to you? I would like to know from people today. What is NLP to you? What is it to you? And how has been your experience with NLP? If anyone who has been in NLP. Before I explain, could you unmute yourself, anyone, or write about what is NLP to you if you have experienced before? It'll be lovely to hear from all of you. What is NLP to you? Come on, people.
Can I?
Sure. Go ahead, Rajendra.
Yeah. NLP is more about understanding why you do what you do, like the reason you're doing anything in your life. Your mental logic, or maybe your mental programming, I could say in simple words. Your mental programming is NLP, I believe.
Okay, nice, interesting.
Hello.
Yep, go ahead.
As per my knowledge, NLP is a subconscious mind, and means know about your hidden things.
Know about the hidden things, the hidden things. Yeah, Chitrali, interesting. Thank you so much. I loved it. Thanks, Chitrali, Rajendra, for giving your points. Have you experienced different changes or different work which you have done with NLP? Anyone? Rajendra, Chitrali, or Palash?
Hello.
Yep.
Yeah, hi, Ridhima. Can you please repeat what it is?
My question is, have you experienced any specific change work which you have done using NLP?
Yes, too research intensive actually. Like it's not like normal machine learning or normal AI or deep learning thing we do. It's quite research intensive in the sense that the context in which people converse, that context has to be brought in or remembered by the machine. So building a model.
Your voice is breaking, Palash. Is it for me or is it for others as well? Can you hear him clearly? Can you repeat, Palash?
So what I was saying that this process, NLP process, in which I have experienced for some 5 or 6 months. So this is quite research intensive.
Quite research intensive, okay?
And what I can say is this exploring day by day, and there's been no end to this process, and understanding people's sarcasm, like small things like sarcasm, or their emotions, sentiments, and context is and understanding that, and making the model to learn that, and the model should be quite accurate. So it's not an easy task at least.
Okay. I could hear you, not more, but yes, what I understand is that you said that NLP is a long-term process in understanding emotions and understanding self. This is what you were mentioning about. And it's a process which is never ending. And I agree to that. It's a process which is exploring self and exploring ourselves in whatever ways which we want.
Yeah, because human intelligence is we are not in a state to quantify human intelligence right now. Like
wow.
What I can say is that if you take the example of a lion. A lion can pick a cub from his mouth, and the same mouth, can even crush a skull. So, quantifying that kind of intelligence is not being possible right now.
Nice, lovely. In a very simple, I mean, Manisha also says, thanks so much, Palash, Rajendra, and Chitrali for contributing. Manisha says it is a way how we can be conscious of our actions. Okay, conscious of our actions. Yeah, because we can team up with the unconscious as well around it. We can be conscious, or we can utilize our unconscious to tell us what are we doing consciously. Maybe the other side round as well, right? Okay, and one more person gives you Naveen, exploring subconscious. I have no idea, but I've been with NLP trainers and found very important person. Oh yes, Naveen. One of the very important thing is it is very important holistic alignment with ourselves. Oh wow, Mitakshara. Nice. Great. When I was talking to all of you, I was also asking a specific question. Thanks so much for keep giving your opinions about it. Its alignment of thoughts was an action. I believe that NLP cannot have one definition. It's subject matter experience, right? It's very subjective. However, putting in a very simple sentence, neuro-linguistic programming, wherein there is something which is transferring in your brain, utilizing your non-verbals and verbals cues, which is your language, and then filtering out everything in a word which you want to say, and then output the word which is coming out right now from the mouth of Ridhima itself, right now in the speech, in kind of a tonality which is coming up in fast, and now Ridhima is moving his half her hand as well. It's one of the patterns which she's utilizing at this moment in this context is a program in itself, which is putting her in a state. Can she be aware of that program which she's utilizing at this moment right now? And can she utilize that program in some other places is her choice. The process of NLP or the tools of NLP and the techniques of NLP can help Ridhima to learn what are the different states which she get into it, what is the pattern which she gets into it, and then she can be intelligent enough to apply those patterns on demand when she wants to do it in a very simple word, if it is simple for us to understand. In my life, yeah, in my life, NLP has of course made a lot of difference. The kind of patterns which I had, grief for my mother's death, or problems with my child, problems with the relationships, problems with going out, etc., etc., a lot of things, and it helped me to find out the patterns. Was it easy? No. At times it was difficult, at times it was challenging, at times it was quite exploring, and still I'm exploring many things, having said that, and learning from John Grinder, Michael Carroll, and Carmen Bostic, NLP Academy, and in Portugal, and meeting 55 mentors from and people from 55 countries altogether, and experiencing that NLP cannot be defined in just one line. It's not that way. It's experience. And while you learn NLP, keep applying and keep learning and keep experiencing. And me and Kathy both believe in excessively applying NLP in lives and experiencing it in such a way that it just goes beyond. And that's why one of the very important topic for both of us is tasking, which is also about NLP. All right, so I invite Kathy. I've been in India and I've been traveling across, and I met Kathy 3 years back. It was just amazing to meet her. I do corporate trainings over here in India, do NLP practitioner courses, NLP training programs, utilize NLP in all the places where I can. I could overcome my own backache issue, which was a slip disc kind of issue. Was advised to have a surgery, but I utilize unconscious signals, yes and no, and power of tasking specifically. And I do that for my own back, and it is, oh my God, it's just amazing. Ask people around me, how was Ridhima before with the backache issue, and how is she now? And with that experience, I have cured other people as well with that specific thing, with the specific frame of tasking and backache. So that's one of the experience which I'm sharing. I'll keep talking on the experience. And I met this beautiful lady 3 years back. It was not easy for me to meet Kathy. Trust me. I haven't met a person who will challenge me in front of people and provoke me in such a way that I will become so overwhelmed. No, I wasn't so open. I I come from Indian culture and I respect my culture. And having said that, coming from different background altogether, where provoking is not so, you know, not so open. And she go like boom, 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 provoke me in front of people, and I go like mad. And I'm working with her, and I have a very beautiful, trust me, an unconscious rapport with her now. And it was a process which happened. And in this process, I invite Kathy in front of all of you to take you through for today's experience of tasking with NLP. Kathy, to you.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. And thank you, Ridhima, and your team for inviting me once again to be here. It's a pleasure. And everybody that I've been working with the last 2-3 months from India are truly, truly amazing. And the learning process has been very gratifying. And yes, Ridhima didn't warn me so much about the provocation and how it would be received culturally in the, and it's been interesting to see in which situations I will use provocation, in which situations I won't use provocation. Well, but today's subject matter is tasking and the importance of tasking. But before we go into that, I just want to tell my story with NLP and how it impacted my life and how I got to where I am today. I started studying NLP in 11 years ago. And I was born in Canada. I live in Portugal. My parents are Portuguese and I live in Portugal. And I started studying NLP in Portugal. The first 5 years I studied with an academy here in Portugal and in Portuguese. And I started to study NLP because I came to a point in my life on a personal level, not on a professional level, but on a personal level. I was extremely unhappy, frustrated. I had extreme challenges in communicating with people that were extremely close to me, one of them being my mother. And I knew consciously, I had made a decision consciously that I wanted to work my relationship with her. I just didn't know how I would do that. And I experimented with a lot of things. I did psychotherapy. I went to experimented with lots of other alternative therapies, and nothing really made sense to me. And so I started off with the coaching certification. I got to the end of that and I wanted more. So I enrolled myself in a practitioner, an NLP practitioner, without being clear on what NLP was. I didn't look it up. I didn't see any videos. I didn't find the meaning because I wanted to experience it. I usually like going into courses with a beginner's mind, so I could, the impact will have on me will be different. If I study beforehand, I will have some filters installed and I won't see it so cleanly as if I go in without knowing absolutely nothing. So I went into this course, NLP course, practitioner, and it significantly changed my life. And I wanted more. So then I went on to my master practitioner a year and a half later. And again, I wanted more. Well, in Portugal, I came to this point where the next level would be trainer's training, what Ridhima came to Portugal to do. And we didn't have it here at the time in Portugal. So I went to the NLP Academy in London, and they trained in Spain at the time. So I did my trainer's training 6 years ago in Spain. And that was the most significant life-changing experience I had. It was 3 very, very intense weeks where I had the pleasure to meet John Grinder, the co-creator of NLP, Carmen Bostic St. Clair, and Michael Carroll, who's the owner of the NLP Academy. And we didn't have so many people from different countries. I think at the time we had I'm not sure if it was 39 people, 39 different countries. I'm used to an international group. My parents put me in the English speaking school when we came to Portugal. And I've always been in Canada. It's a very multicultural country. So I was always very used to people from different parts of the world. And still the impact of the diversity of the course was overwhelming. And my life changed significantly at that time. And I wanted more. After a year and a half, I went into New Code. I did my New Code practitioner and my New Code trainers, and I am a qualified New Code trainer. And that's my passion. I work practically exclusively with New Code, and there are other workshops we will be giving to talking about New Code. New Code is it's John Grinder's way of exploring New Code. And that's my passion. 90% of my coaching sessions are based on New Code, and I teach classic and New Code, and I explore New Code to the maximum of my abilities, which has been a very, very interesting experience in the last 4 years. 2 years ago, I decided to make my own company. I built my own branding on my own company. And I've been working as a coach and as a trainer exclusively in the last year. Ridhima invited me to join her when actually, she decided to invite me before. We were going to do something in Goa together. But with this quarantine and with this COVID, we were unable to do it. And so she decided to create these lives, which she invited me. And I was very glad to accept, because meeting people from India and having their perspective and their experience only enriches my life even more. So I want to thank everybody for being present, and thank you for listening to us. And please, any question, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to support in any way we can. And hopefully you will support us too. So that's very brief explanation of my experience with NLP. I learned more about myself. I did it initially for self-application. I applied it excessively on myself before I decided to apply it on other people. Initially, I didn't even want to become a coach. I didn't even want to become a trainer. It was not my intention initially. And then only in the last 4 years did I decide, okay, maybe I can make this a professional experience. I can become a professional coach. I can become a professional trainer. And that's what I've been doing in the last 2 years. With Ridhima, when she said, what will we talk about in these lives? What would you like to talk about? And one of my popped in and go, oh, let's do tasking. Please, let's do tasking. I don't think there's enough people talking about tasking and the importance of tasking then in the coaching sessions. And even in our daily life and our experiences, we're struggling with something, and usually something's missing, and not always we're able to identify what is missing. And sometimes we just need a task where we're able to go through the experience and get the competencies that are missing so we can achieve whatever goal we want. And interestingly enough, Ridhima and I were talking before everybody arrived, and we're going, okay, how are we going to explore tasking this time? And I think a very good way to introduce tasking is our story, is your and I story. When you came up to me in Sesimbra in Portugal, I was mentoring the trainer's training certification, and Ridhima came up to me with an issue, and I tasked her. So if you want to explore what was happening at the time, and we could share that story, and I think it's an excellent example of a tasking.
Yep.
And how you did all the work. I tasked you. You did all the work.
You did the work.
And you came to your own conclusion without me imposing absolutely anything on your map of the world. So you can take it from here, Ridhima.
All right, great, thanks. When I was in Sesimbra, 2.5 years back now. So at that time, let me take you back. I got a problem in the year January 2017 for my slip disc issue. From January till the month of April, I was continuously working on that issue without the medicines, and I didn't go for my surgery, which was given to us, that you should go there. And I worked on it, and it was a big issue like this, the whole back, and it became like this as a small pinch, just a small pinch. In the May 2017, when I visited, at that time, I thought that, okay, now I really want to get over this small thing which is still remaining. I was traveling from India to Portugal. It was approximately 25 or 27, more than 27 hours, entire journey, door to door, I'm talking about. And I really wanted to get away from it. And for all of that, I utilized one of the signals exercises which is there in New Code NLP, which is unconscious signals. And with that, there's a specific thing which I went to Kathy and I said that, hey, you know what? I want to get over it. And Kathy said, okay, make a conscious list. Hear me out very specifically, we're utilizing this. And she gave me a task of make a conscious list of things which you think you can do to satisfy the intention of that particular pain. I will just say it as pain. It's a behavior of back doing something. So make a conscious list of something which is asking you to do. You know what? Consciously, what was the task? You'll be surprised. Consciously, the task was go, damn it, I'm sorry, and go and run. Why are you holding me back? I am not asking you to hold back. I'm talking about that small pinch which was remaining and it was telling me, go and start running. You used to run, right? Why are you holding me back? You're still holding me back and start running. And I go like, damn, okay, all right, let me test it. I believe in testing and finding out what is my body saying. I like to test things. And I went ahead and kept doing it for the continuous 3-4 days. And every day it wasn't coming back. And I was like, oh man, that's the point. I'm actually getting in. The another conscious list which was there with me was about having water. So the moment the pinch comes in, have water. It was another thing, a conscious list. And I started working on my task. And I'm really happy and thanks, Kathy, for that one question, which intrigued me inside myself. And I kept working on it. There were specific pressure points, there was specific exercise, there was specific water, there was a specific way I'm doing things. And I'm wow. I'm just wow. And at that point, and this is an amazing work. Then I realized in New Code NLP, especially in New Code NLP, I'll be very honest. At that time, I realized the importance of tasking, which can be given to a coachee. And having said that, there are many people who are not coaches. However, to anyone, if I am a mother, I can give a task to my son to create that change level. If I am a daughter, I can give a task. I can actually create a change level with my dad. I do it. So I'll explain that later. If I am a manager and my team member is not responding the way I want him for a good change with a positive intention, I can create a tasking at a level where the change can be created easily and the responsibility of that change would remain with the coachee and the coachee would himself understand. Having said all of this, the tasking which can be utilized with the HRs, with the trainers, with the sales, with anywhere and everywhere, with the clients, or with whomsoever you're working in, the most important point I think in the entire tasking is about knowing the intention clearly and tasking it around the intention. And we will work around it. We will talk about it. The intention would help us to actually create the task which will unveil the competencies which at this moment, at that time, Ridhima, or at that moment, your client thinks that the competencies doesn't exist. Or I know as a coach, if there is a competency which is missing in you, which will help you to reach the outcome, I would have the tasking to match the competency. Yep. Let's give you an example, a very simple one. Can I go ahead, Kathy? The example of the two kids.
Sure,
so,
of course.
Recently, day before yesterday, we had a catch-up call with our practitioners and coaches to understand how are they doing and if there is anything which they want to discuss about. We do it every month. And beautiful experience came in again. I love these hours I spend with my practitioners. And the experience was, I'll give you our experience as A and B to make it simpler for everyone. And hear me out, it's a beautiful one. A, B, This is a child. He's also a child. Two child, little child. 3 years, 5 years. 5-year person, 5-year child can do anything which is 7 years. Whether it comes to physical things, okay, whether it comes to XYZ. 3-year child in the ecology has been told multiple times that you do not do things the way the 5 years does, and you're weaker than the 5 years. You don't even do things which is at the 3 years. Do you understand this question, this context right now? 3 years and the 5 years, A and the B. My coach, the coach of these 3 years and the 5 years, she is a friend of, like, she's a bua. What do you say, bua? She's an aunt to them, to these small kids. So the bua wanted them to have, a good, them to have this 5 years small kid shouldn't say something which will affect a 3-year. You can understand how can these words can affect a 3-year child, right? If you keep saying it multiple times, you're not good, you can't do things, it can't happen, etc. And we were discussing how can a coach give a task to them so that there's something which can happen. And she was planning multiple tasking, and we came down to what is the intention of giving a task. What do you think? What can be the intention of giving a task? And to whom should I give a task so that we understand that 3-year child start, knowing that, okay, he's good, he's not that way. What do you think? What could be the intention of giving a task, and what can be done? Is the case clear? 3 years, 5 years? 3-year can't do things which the 5-year can do. 3-year can't do things which a 3-year can do. 5-year can do everything. Intention to break the shackles. Okay. All right. Okay. That could be one intention. What else? Let's talk about it. What else? What else?
To make them aware about their abilities.
To make them aware about the abilities. Okay. All right. To whom? To A or to B?
To 3-year-old kid.
To 3-year-old kid. Okay. To make him know the ability of a 3-year-old. Okay. What else? That he's also powerful. Okay. What else?
I guess just leave them on their own and just don't bound them with abilities or competencies, and just let them do it. I'm very confident when you don't put a boundary to a child or a person or an individual's the competency, they don't know it, right? And they'll go and achieve it. But if you tell them this is what is your competency and you can only do this much, you will never achieve it.
Yes, having said that, yes, absolutely, I agree to what you're saying. Having said that, he was being told multiple times that he can't do that. In his real ecology, that's happening again and again, Niharika. It's a beautiful point what you're making.
So the environment needs to change. People around need to enforce a lot of positivity for the child to make things happen, because in a negative environment, children do not grow. It's not about children. Nothing grows in a negative environment. So the belief that the child cannot do is something which is inculcated by the environment. Either you shift the environment or you make the belief of the child so strong that it doesn't really matter what the environment has to say. Either of them.
Okay, okay, all right, okay. Yeah,
Can I
Kathy.
add something?
Yeah, Kathy.
Can I add something? Oh,
Sorry.
Yes, Manish, you go ahead, add, and then Kathy, you ask.
sure.
Sorry. Sorry, I did.
No,
it's
go
okay.
ahead.
It's
That's
okay.
okay.
Go
We're
ahead,
discussing.
Manish.
We're exploring. Come on. It's an
So
open class.
exactly that's the point. If we give the child, 3-year-old child, the environment to explore, that is more important, I feel, rather than completing the task. Because sometimes what happens is, 5-year kid has got that explorer, like he has explored the way to do something. So he knows the way to do something. 3-year kid doesn't know the way. He follows 5 years kid. So I think the task should be given to the 5 years old, that let him explore or let him do how he is doing.
Okay.
My perspective.
Okay. Can I just make the frame more clear for everyone, and then Kathy, you go ahead. The frame that I'm making the frame clear. In this context, 5-year is saying multiple times to the 3-year that you can't. So there is a language pattern. And second is that the reality for the 5-year in the real context is that he is doing the things which is to be done for a 7 years. So when he was 3, he was doing the things which was done by 5 years. Do you understand the frame? So two important data or fact, two important facts to be given in this. And then Kathy, go ahead with the question.
And I'm going to add something, not only for the kids, and this is general, this could be applied in anything. If I verbally tell a child or an adult, I verbally tell them, you're missing this, do it my way. And we have the example with our parents. And when I remember my mother saying to me, you're going to regret it when you're older, you're going to realize what I'm saying. But I said, but Mom, I want to do it anyway. And she'd go, don't do it. But I want to. What was happening here? My mom was giving me verbal indication of what was right or what was wrong. And she was probably right most of the times. It's not that. The thing is, as a teenager or as a child, I didn't go through the experience. So I didn't know how to tell her if it was right or if it was wrong, if it made sense to me or not. So what happens, what's the intention? And of course, we do it in a very safe frame, is we allow the child, the person, to go through the experience the way Ridhima went through the list of conscious choices for her back issue, to go through the experience and have the person decide for herself or for himself, what he wants to do or not. So if we tell the 5-year-old child, do it this way, he can do it or not. But if he hasn't gone through the experience like the 3-year-old who hasn't gone through the experience yet at the level of the 5-year-old, he doesn't know. And of course he can't verbalize it at being 3. So the intention here is, when we work with the tasking, is for us to identify what's missing. Okay. In this case, the 3-year-old, he's missing the experience. Okay. Which experience specifically? Well, that will be determined between who's ever working with the child. And then you create an exercise, you create a simple game, you create coloring a book, going outside and playing, in which he can experience it physically and mentally. What is it that we are trying to teach him? And then he could do it without us having to constantly verbalize it. Do it, do it, do it. He will naturally do it through the programming and through the experience. Okay?
Absolutely. Can I just add on? This is very important. When I asked the coach what is the intention, the first important thing which came out was it was becoming difficult to find out what is the intention. Oh, I want a 3-year-old child to believe in himself. That was the first intention which came out. And then I did a little more meta question. And then the second intention came out. Oh, I want the 5-year to believe that the 3-year can do things. Okay, that's the second intention which came out. Doing more meta question and breaking through the intention beautifully. And this is what I want all of you to focus on. The intention which came out was that, okay, I get to know what I want. I want both of them, which is the intention of the mother. I want both of them to play together and equally allow themselves to be themselves. I want both of them to play together and equally allow themselves to be themselves. I go, boom, okay, now, when you have the intention clear, then you can have the check on the competency. That's the second level of the tasking. So you have the intention clear. This is what I want. You are a manager. There's a team member who's not doing the things which is the way you want him to present, etc., etc. Your intention is to get more clients. Your intention is to get better relationships, etc., etc. You find out the intention clearly. And then we asked her, okay, what is the strength of A and what is the strength of B? And she said so beautifully, A is so creative and B is so physically fit.
Kathy and Ridhima, this is Dipinder.
Yep.
If you please permit, may I add something? Hi, how are you, Kathy? How are you, Ridhima?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Can I just
But
complete this and then you can
sure,
definitely get it?
please,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. It'll be wonderful. So now the point is the 3 years and the 5 years and the strengths and the competencies. Simple. The competencies of A and the competency of B. That's it. If I have a clear competency of A, which is creativity, and I have a competency of B, which is physical, which means something is missing here and something is missing here, and the intention, the higher intention was they come together and play together and by themselves by respecting each other. A task which can have the competency of of creativity and the task which can have a competency of physical, getting them together, a task which requires both of it together. What can happen if I give a task which requires both of it together? And they realize by themselves, and we just keep doing them, giving them the task the same way for maybe whatever number until we know that yes, everything is working on. Yep. All right, Deepinder, go ahead.
All right, my name is Dipinder Singh Chawla. I am a learning and development professional, head of department for training and development, and more than 15 years of work experience. Uh, okay, till the time both of you had your views, let me segregate it because this is a framework which is a very ideal one, a 3 year, a 5 year. I've been handling, trainers, hiring trainers, issuing, performance improvement programs, PIPs, warning letters, termination letters, promotions, appraisals. I've been doing it for the last 15 years of my life. So let me break it very clearly. I belong to a very small town, and Ridhima, like you, I had an accident in the month of December last year itself, and I rose back. I'm a fitness trainer. I'm also a chef, a singer, and I love to play what you call it, the flute. And I learned it during my when I was on bed rest. So two three things very clearly. This happened in the month of I started walking in the month of Feb itself. So when we talk about tasking or when we call it NLP, it is very clear. A 3 year old or a 5 year old or a 7 year old or a 70 years old, whatever that you feed into your subconscious mind, eventually, irrespective of your age, you will get that. I belong to a very small city called Shri Ganganagar. We didn't have any environment of an English school or speaking English or something of that sort. I'm raised in a Christian school, Sacred Heart Convent School, from nursery till class 7th of my life. And I used to sing every day, there shall be showers of blessing. This is a promise of Lord. The prayer that we do. And in the evening, according to my religion, I used to visit the Gurdwara and, Now, what happens, as one of the participants says, Niharika, a negative environment cannot, get things positive. I would like to disagree. The most negative or the most discomfortable environment will eventually bring the best in you. I used to record my voice on a tape recorder. At that point of time, way back in 1990s, there were tape recorders, no mobile phones or something of that sort. I used to record it from a television, listen it back, compare it to my newsreader. My mom had a small 5 rupees was a denomination, 5 rupees library card of District Library, Shri Ganganagar. I used to read the stories of Charles Dickens, Huckleberry Finn, and everything. And then I used to compare myself. Just because I'm born in a small town does not mean that I would stay in that small town and I would not be able to speak English or do whatever it is. You visit my Facebook or a LinkedIn profile. I did my European MBA from London. I was among the top 20 people who were selected out of 400. So whether it's Bangla, whether it's French, whether it's English, whether it's Australian accent or an American accent or a British accent, I think whatever that you try to get within you, like the way Ridhima you said, I don't want to have a spine ache, I don't want to have a surgery, I want to get back to life. So the moment you send these vibrations to the universe, I wake up at 5 in the morning. I said, I want to see the sun rising in front of me, and I'm constantly feeding it that it was just an accident. But the moment you constantly feed it, the universe attracts it very clearly. And I firmly believe you never get what you want in life. You only get what you deserve in life. So it's never written anywhere in a book that a 3 year old can never do things just because you're not experienced because he was not 5 years old. I'll give you one small example to it. You ask a child not to touch an electric socket. You tell him one by tasking or by verbal or whatever it is. He will not listen to you. You tell a child, do not play with a lit candle. He will not listen to you. One fine day, he'll get
the command.
Right. One fine day, he'll get one sweet little electric shock from an electric socket, or he'll burn his, finger from a, lit candle. And that is the day the stimulus is more than enough. Oh my God, yes, he used to tell me, don't play with this. So
Exactly.
I don't think, I think age is just a number. It is more of your willpower and what are you continuously feeding in your subconscious. I did things when I was too small a kid, even to my elders in class 12th or 11th. I was quite dominant in extempores and debate and communication. And there was a very strong word. Is Dipinder participating in that debate? Is Dipinder participating in the extempore? If he's doing it, we are not. And they were my seniors in college and in school because they didn't feed themselves. So I don't think age has anything to do with anybody's capacity. Kathy, please.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
In what did you perceive is the intention of Ridhima's story of the children? What was your perception of the intention of Ridhima's story? Was it the age? Was the age the most important aspect of Ridhima's story?
I was more concerned about the perception that how do we make it? How do we download it? Shall we give tasking to a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old? How do they work?
We naturally do it. We naturally task. We naturally do it in our educational system, in our relationship as a parent, as a daughter, as a sister, as friends. We naturally do the tasking. What we are proposing here is we do it in a structural way, independently, of course, of age. And I agree with what you said. Learning processes could happen at the age of 70 and exactly at the age of 1. Since the minute we're born, we're always in a learning process. We're always gaining competencies through language, through walking, through learning different kinds of languages. And most of you are bilingual, if not tripling. So yeah. But what was Ridhima's intention for telling this story? And this could be for everybody. What was Ridhima's intention for telling the story?
Are you asking me or are you sharing that with
me? No, not for everyone.
I'm asking you. If you want to share your answer, feel free.
I believe,
or anybody else.
I firmly believe, I don't believe in formal tasking. I've seen people at negative environments, which one of the participants said, poor families, clearing top class judiciary, law and examinations with not even having food to eat. So there was no formal tasking given. I believe something which is a self-motive. I'm a self-motivator. I don't need somebody to give me a task to succeed in life. Right. So my perception of your story is, do I always need to tell people, or one fine day, in a family, the head of the family, the father or the mother dies, and then, oh my God, I'm all alone, I'm a child. So in some structured manners, I can understand tasking can be done, but I think it is more of the inner potential one realize that, okay, now I have to,
and how specifically does the person know what is necessary or what's missing?
The moment he is out of the parent's lap, he's out in the world, maybe in a boarding school, or the moment he faces that, look, I'm all alone. There's nobody.
That's one way. Yes, that's
one way. I live with my mother.
Ways.
I'm 46 years old and I still live with my mother. So I can't be tasked.
Yeah.
I'm 37 and it has been 20 years that I've been away from my family. So the moment I was away from my family, all the tasking from the universe happened.
Absolutely.
I have a different experience. My mother is my best teacher.
That's
due
wonderful.
to our very complicated relationship. My mother is my best teacher, and she has taught me a lot about communication and a lot how when communication doesn't function, what's missing for me to improve that communication. So experiences are different. And we have 85 people here present. And if we ask each person individually what was their we'll be here until tomorrow. And I bet that each person has their own experience, which is full of creative and luscious and descriptive descriptive experiences. And they would be most welcome to do so. So and I agree, formal tasking not always is useful, and it depends on the situation. Totally agree. In this case, what's Ridhima and my intention is to teach people how to use it in a structural way through our experience, Ridhima through corporate and coaching, mine through coaching. Okay. To how do we formulate a formal tasking, because it naturally happens, of course, and I agree. I'm not going to tell someone in the middle of nowhere, oh, you have 5 steps, and here are the 5 steps for a very, very happy life. Of course, I'm not going to do that. So it depends on the context. It depends on the situation.
Lovely.
So,
Deepinder,
yes,
I really enjoyed this.
I agree with you in some aspects, and we probably will disagree in others, and it's fine to disagree.
Fine. Thanks, Ridhima.
It's one of the very beautiful thing which just now happened is perception which we have from different stories, and at this moment right now in this story, the frame and the thought which I want all of you to think about is that how does intention play a very important role in tasking? And I agree, Deepinder, at times formal tasking wouldn't work.
Zero.
It would be yes, absolutely. The person would go, no, hello, you can't give me that. I'm not going to do that. And at that time, as a coach, I need to collaborate that this person is not open for tasking, and I will do something else and not work on tasking. So tasking is just one part of it. And yes, our parents have been tasking us a lot to learn different things and to explore our own potentials and competencies, right? So they've been doing it. And the other part is, yes, people who are self-motivated like you and me and many others, they do themselves tasks. They task themselves. Exactly. So I like to task myself to do a lesson in a different way and do different poses. So yeah, I can do that as well. At this moment, the point is the intention for us to come over here is to make sure that one of the structure of tasking and how can you utilize it. In this case specifically with the 3 and the 5, when we were discussing with one of our practitioners, and we discussed that if we go ahead with a formal play of task with them, okay, it can give different results vis-a-vis an informal way. And we invited her to think about it. What is her take and what is her intention and her style to do it? It would also vary from styles to styles and the way the person is taking it. Okay, all right. There was a raised hand by Neha. I'm sorry, Kathy. There was a raised hand by Neha.
Sure. Please.
I don't know. Where is Neha?
Neha this side.
Yep, Neha. Hi.
Yeah, I think we are taking a lot of time. It's okay. I can give my part later. Ridhima, you please continue.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Neha. You can keep writing in if you want. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Great. Lovely. So let's go ahead. I invite all of you to think about one thing which you are maybe wanting to do or think if you're open to discuss in this platform. Okay, and you can think about it. Anything which is simple or something which is troubling you or something which you want to get over from.
And simple.
And very simple. Yep. Think about something simple, not something complicated, because it would involve multiple things and not only tasking. Okay. I invite you to get up early, Rajendra. Okay. All right. Come on, let's start typing in because we would like to test different tasks at this level, and then we will open the structure of it. And I invite all of you to start writing in the simple things so that we can start working on it. Okay, all right. Run away
from this pandemic.
Oh my goodness, Shrikala. Oh gosh. Manish to exercise daily, loving self. Deyanti, complicated. Pankaj starting exercises. It's really boring.
Boring.
That pandemic, yeah. So then she'll have a task. Shrikala, keep writing and just speak to Shrikala.
To get adept at using technology. I agree, Shayla. I'm the same here.
Sheila, there are many people like us, so it is okay. But of course, we can work it out.
A lot of tasks to do. Then also being away from friends and the school atmosphere, so it's really irritating. We used to be there from 8:30 to 5 in the school, so here away from them, really making our lives bit difficult.
Yeah. Okay. So, Shrikala, you said that things are boring. That is what you mentioned.
Get rid.
Yep. Correct? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So I invite you to think about 3 things which are you just love them. You're so passionate about it. Okay. Think about it, and I invite you to start doing it and tell me then how is your day going on. And you can have a calendar and we can discuss it offline again. That's a task for you.
Yeah, actually, I don't use a calendar as of now because
that's okay. You can use whatever.
Yeah, I'm doing what I'm doing to come over that is actually in my childhood I used to write poems. So I have started writing it again in one of the platform called Story Mirror.
Nice.
So in that way, I'm coming out of that boredom, and even some courses have joined up in like Sailor Academy, some free courses are there. So going on with that, and some very useful webinars as yours. So,
oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, these are the 3 things which I'm doing as of now to come out of the.
Nice. Adding to that, I invite you to find out new 3 things. Not the one which you've already done, Shrikala. Something new, which you have never ever done.
These are the things which in the pandemic we have taken up. So, not which I've not done. No, I've not taken anything new.
Yep, that's my task to you. I invite you to get back to me in the next week. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So your task is to do something new. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Great, lovely. Something new which you've never ever done. Yep.
Yeah.
Like I never did kickboxing over the videos. Oh my god, I never did that, and it's going crazy for me. It's just amazing. Do kickboxing. Yeah, and you do boom, and then you do boom like that, and you play around the aerobics.
I should get Ridhima here to be to start that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Shrikala. Love you. Love you. Thanks so much. Okay, let's go ahead. Pushpa has raised her hand. Pushpa, go ahead. And Kathy, you can pick up quick all of them, how many we can pick up, and start working around it. Pushpa, you have raised your hand. Can you please come on? On the
by mistake.
Okay. All right. Great. Lovely. We would like to go ahead, Kathy, with one of them. Managing babies and work. I love it, Nisha. Wake up early. Arun. Want to stop thinking about competitors. Neha Gupta. That will be interesting. Would like to take it up, Kathy? Neha Gupta. Want to stop thinking about competitors. You got that?
Okay. First, I would. If is she willing to explore it?
Yeah, Kathy. Sure.
Oh, sure. Hello. How are you?
Hi.
I was looking
I'm
for
good.
you on the screen.
Okay.
What's the intention behind this? What would you like to get from not in this? Let me just see that again.
Yeah, sure. So my clear intention behind this is, suppose when we talk about our competitors, so some negative things come into my mind, like emotions like jealousy.
Okay.
Sometimes we what I feel is that if my competitor has done something good, I don't feel that I don't find it nice. I don't find it good, though they are doing better in their life. But my negative emotions come out that time. I feel that it's I need to overcome that.
Okay, sure. My question is, what's the intention behind? And I'm going to put in, what do you call these? I'm going to put them in. I forgot. Now I say in Portuguese. In brackets. What's the intention behind these negative emotions that you get when you think of your competitors having success?
Intention behind the negative emotions.
Yeah. What is? Yeah. I know this may sound strange.
Competition is the direct intention that maybe she or he may do better than me. That's the clear intention. It's a race. It's a competition. That's the intention. Exactly.
So, and what if they do better than you? What's the intention in them doing better than you?
Actually, it's not that somebody is doing. I completely believe that every individual has his own strengths.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough. The thing is, you have this feeling, and
but
then
many of the times I still have those. So I want to just overcome that feeling, that fear that the person who is doing similarly, it's in my industry, those who are direct competition to me. I should not be worried about them. I should focus on my career only. Yeah.
Thank you. You gave the answer. I should be focusing on my career.
I know
Okay.
the answer, but controlling those emotions is difficult.
Okay. I would invite you, instead of when you say the word control, pay attention to your body and what's happening to your body when you use the word control. And I'm going to invite you to experiment. Instead of saying control those emotions, experiment saying I choose the emotions. Okay. How do you feel when you say choose instead of control?
Like choosing, like whether should I choose to be jealous or should I choose?
Exactly. And it's a legitimate feeling. How do you feel about it physically?
Physically, sometimes I get heated up also. My body heats up. Yeah.
Okay. And when you say you choose, I choose to deal with my negative emotions. How does that make you feel?
Sorry, I could not get it actually. How? What?
How do you feel physically? Body sensations. How do you feel when you say I choose to deal with my negative emotions?
Problem which I'm facing is that I constantly I'm concentrating only on those emotions rather than doing something constructive in my field.
Okay,
the entire day goes in vain actually.
What would be constructive for you?
I'm not able to see your video, Kathy.
Oh, did I disappear?
I think Sneha Pillai is.
Sneha Pillai, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. That's okay.
Okay. What would be interesting for you to focus on yourself instead of these negative emotions when you're in contact with your competitors, for example?
My sense of work which I'm doing. Suppose I'm a counselor, so I want to focus only on my work, my progress, my future plans, and my growth.
And have you done your future plans in your work, and have you organized all of that?
Yeah, for the next month I have. Yes.
Okay. And when you did that organization, how did you feel?
Motivated.
Okay. So yeah, I would like you to explore another way to feel. Another way to feel motivated? What other way can you feel motivated?
To feel motivated.
So
talking to those who are like-minded people, or and those who actually give me some positivity. So they give me some motivation.
And those people that are like-minded and are positive, are they your competitors?
Generally, frankly speaking, I tend to stay away from those. My seniors are there with me, those who keep on motivating, inspiring, guiding also. So with them, I feel a little motivated. Yeah. Inspiring, basically.
So there's a difference between each group. Okay.
With seniors, I don't feel any competition. With the people, those who are in the bracket of plus minus 10 years, so that becomes a challenge.
And what would happen if you were in their shoes, in your competitors' shoes?
See, if 10 years down the line, I may feel the same, which I think like the example which she gave, like 3 years or 5 years, because youngsters, they are coming up with more zeal, more performance ability. So it happens with every individual, that how juniors are able to do the same thing which we are doing at this age. So these kind of things, they are there in each and everybody's mind, although we keep on tasking ourselves.
So what do you think is missing? What do you think is missing to satisfy the intention of focusing just on yourself?
Yeah, that is our strengths. We should focus only on our strengths. Yeah.
So what are the tasks? What is missing for you to focus on yourself when you're in contact with your competitors? So
I keep on thinking about them. Suppose I got the news, some new news, then the entire day gets wasted. Yeah, that's the challenge. I'm not able to focus. I need to distract myself then, either by listening to music or something which keeps me engaged.
So you have your plan, listening to music. What else?
or sometimes I feel more aggressive doing my work more aggressively.
When you say aggressive, how specifically aggressive?
Aggressive in the sense to work aggressively, not in terms of aggressive behavior.
No, I didn't say, I didn't think that.
Yeah. In terms of suppose somebody is doing in my field is he has achieved something, so I also try to focus. See, this is what I'm lagging behind. So
what do you do when someone achieves something? What do you usually do in regards to that person?
I try to reach that point that I try to find out the ways where I'm lagging.
Okay, and you could do, and that's good. You can identify what's missing in you, and how is your interaction with that other person?
It's smooth, it's fine. It's only inside my mind. I don't show it in front of everyone, but it's only inside me. Yeah.
My question is, do you talk to the person? Do you interact with? Okay, and
I try to ignore, but when it comes to actually facing that person, then yes, I interact. But
and instead of ignoring, what can you do?
Sorry?
Instead of ignoring, what can you do?
Instead of ignoring, what can you do? Nothing else. Nothing comes to my mind. Like I try to ignore.
Okay. If you were in their shoes, what would you like the other person to say to you?
The other person would never know what I'm feeling.
That's not my question. If you were in their position.
Yeah.
Okay. And you did something successfully and you had other people around you, you might not know what they're thinking. As that person who has been successful at something, what would you like them to say to you?
What would I like for them to think about me?
Not think, say.
Say about me, like congratulating, praising, recognizing my work. Yeah.
Okay. And do you do that to the other people when they're
I do that. Yeah.
You congratulate them. Okay. Yeah. And how does that make you feel?
I congratulate just for the sake of formality.
I love her formality. I really do. Well, here it's not so specific tasking. I would do something else with you. I wouldn't task you at this point if we were in a formal coaching session, and we will get back to you because it's not a question of tasking here specifically. Here, it's more of changing your internal representation and giving it a different meaning than tasking.
I know that the person is not wrong. He or she is doing.
It's not a question about being right or wrong.
But my emotions, managing those emotions at that particular time, that why I'm feeling jealous. Though I'm doing my part, that becomes
I respect what's going on, and I really respect Neha. You are so beautiful, opening up so nicely the word which she has mentioned, which is be honest, which has been mentioned by multiple people, and they're congratulating others without the feeling. So the internal representation, which is the feeling kinesthetics, is missing. And that's why all of that which is happening. So we would like to work with you, Neha, personally on a one-on-one coaching with me and Kathy together. And I would ask Priyanka to create a meeting with you. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
Lovely. Because I wouldn't do tasking at this specific moment.
No,
I would do something else.
There's a reason behind that. We will come to it later. Would you like to please go ahead for other one, or can I just pick up Sachin? We were discussing about it. Nisha, I respect you. I really understand. We just started, so we wanted to finish it properly and then close it properly. So thank you so much for your patience. Sachin, I just gave you one answer. Did you find it useful, Sachin?
Thank you, Ridhima. I'll really appreciate the time Ms. Kathy and you're giving to us. Only challenge which I think as of today, we all know we are operating in a different model together. We all are spending a lot of time on the internet, a lot of time on laptop, mobile phones, etc. Same time, kids are also facing the same challenge. And I am sure all of us are agreeing the same front that people are now, a lot of anxieties developing up. People are facing a lot of challenges, how to cope up with the situation and how to deal with the situation wherein you have to spend more than 14 hours on laptop to perform, to do your job, and same time kids also have to spend a lot of time on their education. What I have noticed, maybe we can close my discussion after this statement. People are, especially kids, are now very anxiety. They have a lot of anxiety in their mind. They can't complete their tasks. They can't live without mobile phones, laptops, or internet. I have seen my kids not spending more than half an hour sitting in one location. Right. So how to cope up with a situation wherein kids are especially not able to cope up with the current situation in lockdown, and anxiety is developing up. How to cope up?
Can I just say one very specific thing if you're open for me to challenge you, Sachin?
Yeah, please do that.
Okay. How is sitting on over laptops or anything is equal to anxiety, and how they not being able to do or not being able to sit at one particular place is equal to anxiety?
You know what? I observe. I am an HR professional, so I have to work in different time zones in India and Canada both. So I know how to manage my times. But what I have observed in last couple of months. I'm talking about the last couple of months because of this lockdown. My kid who was able to concentrate on books, he was able to spend time on books, and he read a lot. And now he has to spend a lot of time on mobile and on laptop to perform his day-to-day tasks. I observe now he's not able to focus on his regular studies through books, and he starts shaking his body. It was not there earlier. He started nodding his face, not able to concentrate, can't sit alone. You have to keep watching him, what he's doing on the phone, on the laptop, so and so forth. So these are few observations I have noticed. And he keep talking to friends over the laptop or over the voice chat, Zoom, which was not there earlier actually. And he can't keep quiet. That's another challenge I'm facing now.
Okay, all right. So there are multiple things, Sachin, which you just said. There are multiple things. One specific thing which I will pick up as description, which is the body, which you're seeing the specific changes, which is shaking of the body or moving the hand, or the moment you said that he's not stopping talking, right? So these are two different observations. One, not stopping talking is a different, which could be useful for him in some context. Maybe he's developing how to talk more. So another one is shaking up of the body, which you have seen, which might be different than, which might be unusual, right? Okay. My invitation to you, Sachin, is think about those things which he used to do earlier in a normal scenario, which is like holding a book or doing something creative, which he used to do. Think about that task which he used to do, which made his body the way it was supposed to be, like the way it was. I wouldn't say normal because I don't understand the word normal. Normal could be different. The way he was, yeah, the way he used to sit. So if I am shaking my hands, right? Okay, I used to sit like this. There was something else which I was doing which made me sit like this. I invite you, number one, think about the things which he used to do which made him sit like this. Getting back to those things like holding a book, you said he used to read, holding a book and reading. Apart from the computer and laptop which he's having to read, because I also have my child who is 10 years and he's also supposed to go to his task to complete his assignments. And what we have done is to make sure that we have the prints of the books in our hands so that he's using more hands, and then he's completing every task in the book and then he goes back. So that's a different example. Let me not mix it. So I invite you to focus on the things which he used to do before, which made his body as accurate as it was before. Simple. Yes, Sachin? That's one. That's step number one. That's just step number one.
Sure.
Can I give two more tasks?
Yes. And before you give the task, step number two, can I please request you, Sachin, to not to interpret more talking could be because of mobile or internet. It maybe he's developing a new competency of talking.
Sure.
Another thing could be interesting. I don't know if you have any kind of balancing boards. I do a lot of this kind of work with teenagers. Balancing boards or the Pilates balls. Do you know what these are?
I know about the balancing boards. Yeah.
Yeah. You get a balancing board and ask him to, I don't know, go on top of the balancing board and be on his mobile. Instead of sitting down on the chair, on his computer or on his mobile, ask him to stand up on top of the balancing board because his physiology will change. Or ask him, instead of sitting in the chair, ask him to sit on top of a Pilates ball. You know those big round balls that are used in gyms?
Right. Yes.
So what happens is, because he has to keep his body balanced, his posture would automatically change, and he will be working his abs. He'll be working his core, and he can be still on the computer doing whatever he wants to be doing, talking to his friends, looking something up. And you said he likes to read.
Yes.
Yes, he likes to read. Ask him to choose 10 books that he hasn't read that he would like to read, and ask him, how long do you think he will take to read those books? Ask him to choose 10 books that he likes. How old is he?
He's 12 years.
That's it.
Thank you, Kathy.
That's, for example, that's tasking, to see if it will help him do what he likes, but in a different way.
Sure.
Okay, this is an example of tasking.
Can we, I think there are beautiful examples and beautiful questions around it. There are things which people are giving problems about, to learn about tasking. I invite you, Kathy. First, let's discuss about the structure of tasking, so that we have the structure for a lot of people who are trainers over here, and then we can utilize it later. And then all of you, my intention from last 3 months is to utilize the knowledge which we have and give you the solutions in case it matches your intention. And the solutions, of course, lies within you. We are just here to question you in different ways. We have the meeting ID provided by my team, in which we are doing free personal coachings. It is open as a calendar, and we invite you to go there. My team would be writing it here, to go there and book the time for personal coaching for next. Right now, let's go ahead and understand what are we talking about in terms of when it comes to NLP and tasking. Okay, all right, let's go ahead, Kathy.
What is it that you want to go through other examples?
We go ahead with the other examples for
I can give a personal example with myself. A very quick one to see if it helps. I love theater. I love to, it's a hobby. I'm far from being professional, but I like to act and play around and explore different emotional states. And I enrolled in a theater course 2 years ago. So I've been doing theater courses in the last 2 years for personal experience, out of a hobby, pure fun. And being from coming to Portugal when I was 11, I had some challenges. Portuguese is a very complicated language to learn in terms of the pronunciation and of writing. So I've always struggled with some words in pronouncing. And it was really cool with the theater, because we were doing plays in Portuguese. I realized over the last 2 years that my pronunciation and my speech has improved dramatically in the last 2 years. I'm pronouncing the words much more cleanly. I'm speaking in complete sentences, well-formatted sentences. And I used to remember every time I would get a tutor to teach me Portuguese, I would hate it. I would not learn Portuguese in the grammatical correct construction because it was boring. We were sitting down and I was learning everything by step, and I wouldn't be able to learn the correct Portuguese. And I realized that I've learned how to speak better Portuguese in the last 2 years through the theater course, which is something that is dynamic, fun, and that I like, than I did before when I was trying to get my Portuguese improved through a tutor. So what am I trying to say here? Unconsciously, I found a way to improve my Portuguese, and it was an informal task. I tasked myself to do the course. And one of the consequences of me doing the theater course was the improvement of my spoken Portuguese. And this is an example of a task, okay? It was unconscious, and I did it to myself. And I identified the fact that it was important that I improve my Portuguese, and it has improved indirectly through the theater, okay? And it's a very simple example. I hope it helped. Is it clearer? And so the idea with the children, and we're talking about a lot of children, and this could be a good example, is how can we make it fun for them? How can we make it dynamic instead of making it boring for them? How can we challenge them in different ways through exercising, through the balancing boards, through the Pilates balls, through juggling? Okay, there's a lot of children I task in. I tell them to learn how to juggle. And they can see the video on YouTube on how to learn how to juggle. So they'll be using the computer in the process. So that could be a way to help them get different kinds of competencies and different kinds of emotional states. Okay, these are just simple examples that I use with kids.
Nice. I have just put in some of the steps for all of you. I'm going to share the screen.
Sure.
Quickly. Yep. 1 second. I have put in these steps for all of you, and that is about the tasking. When you are in a professional platform, or when you are working with your family, in both of the cases, the importance of tasking is quite being said in one of the videos by John Pedro as well, that it actually helps the coachee or the person or the individual to identify what is that missing in me and how can I work around it by myself, giving the opportunity to me to explore by my own self. That's one of the very important thing, and to create my own representations, right? So while I do that, I'm unable to. Rahul, can you please make me the host to share the screen? So while we do that, some of the structured methods or the structured way to do it is first to identify the intention. What is the intention when I am doing the tasking? That's one of the very important things. And please remember that it doesn't work all the time. Like, for example, in the case of Neha, we said that we would like to do some other technique rather than only tasking, because it's a different thing altogether. Maybe in case of Sachin, when we were doing it, and in other like Shrikala, what is a missing competency? What is that which she is not doing? Something which is not there already. So, for example, if the missing competency is, if I am doing my hand like this, my missing competency is my hand being like this. What could be different ways which I can identify as a coach that someone's hand or someone's body can be like that? And then I will identify that task which can satisfy that missing competency. And I go back to the story of the 3 and the 5-year-old. The missing competency at that time was this for these two people. The intention was about that they're not able to identify that they can be a team. They can be a team coming together, allied together, and can complement each other at the time. So the tasking is aligned to satisfy the intention. Same for me. When I was working for my backache issue, the tasking was for me to run. At that time, my unconscious told me that maybe the missing competency for me is to run, or I'm not running. And I picked up that and I created my task for my own self. Having said that, please make sure, if you are a coach or if you are working with people, if the person is not ready to accept the task, what do? If the person is not ready, and you collaborated very well, if the person is not ready to accept the task, then what do? What can you do then? Anyone? If the person is not ready to accept the task, what do you do then?
See,
Because of
Ridhima,
both.
Deepinder here. It depends upon who the person is and what the environment. If he's my subordinate, he's bound by my KRAs. If he doesn't do it, his appraisal will go for a toss. If he's my family member, right? If he's a family member, right?
I'm talking about in the scenario of working professional. In that scenario itself, when I'm giving a task at that time, let me just correct. Yes, this is one of the generalization, but at that time I am a coach, right? To my subordinate, and while I'm offering the task, I can calibrate by the physiology, by the body, and by the cues that the person is not open, right? Correct. And when I calibrate from the body that the person is not open to take the task, at that time, what do I do? That's my question.
There are a couple of things you can do. See, I used to handle a team of 10 trainers reporting into me, being the head of training for Northeast and West with one of the ex-organizations. And no, 10 cannot be same, right? So one person is very great at, Excel or VLOOKUP and everything, and the other person is hardly interested. So we have something which is called gamification. So out of those 10 people, be succeeding in that task, whosoever will be doing an initiative and submitting me a report as a head of department, I'll be maybe making him the subject matter expert of the week, trainer of the week, or let's say I'll do whenever I visit that particular branch, maybe in Mumbai or in other location, I'll present him with one of the certificates signed by me. That thank you for your participation in or your initiative, and that creates a kind of a jealousy or kind of a healthy competition with the rest 9 trainers. So yes, gamification happens at times. At times, a verbal hint of warning does happen. At times, in a TTT, when all the trainers are there, when you openly congratulate one, now look, this person did really great in that project. Yeah. Awesome. So it depends on which hat I really need to put on.
Yep, the context. But as a coach, if I know that I'm just closing this right now because I want to see some more. Do aware of losses to him. Okay.
Ridhima, basically it is rewarding. Yeah, is it rewarding people? No?
No. Okay, let me just frame it again. My question to all of you, and there are many coaches and trainers out here. My question to all of you: if I collaborate, if I observe that when I am giving a task to the person and the person is not open to the task without he verbalizing or she verbalizing to me, then at that time, as a coach, what can I do?
Could I speak, Ridhima?
Yes, Amir.
Yeah. See, here in this, what I feel is you should convince him. No? You should convince the person how the important this task is for him. The task, the end goal is to solve his query, solve his problem. It's going to benefit him.
Okay.
That cost should be given to the person to accept it.
Okay. So the moment I say you should, thanks, Samir. Thanks, of course. The moment I say you should convince him, the should again has a liability for me as a coach to convince the person to go through the task.
Ridhima, by giving some examples of people, those who have done this task and they have achieved that particular goal, inspiring them.
I can use a Milton model wherein I can use conversation postulates and I can work around, you know what, this happened with this person and this was what happened. And it's okay if you don't want to take up a task, but I'm just telling you a story and I can just leave it. And maybe I see the next time and collaborate. That's one way. Yes, Neha. Ekta says rapport. Yes. Correct.
Naveen here. Hi, sorry. Yeah, we can rephrase our task also, I believe.
Absolutely.
Rephrasing it because maybe I was not putting the things the way it should be, you know.
Yep. Or Naveen, my suggestion, we can create a task for them, the person to be open to the tasking itself.
Yeah, that could be, yeah. Yes, correct. Absolutely.
They are not open for the task for some reason.
Yeah, that
Maybe
is
they
what
have.
even, yeah.
Yeah, Shama, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, even I was going to say the same thing, like, maybe we need to know, like, why they are stopping themselves. So
Yeah.
the same thing happened with me too. Like, my coach, he gave me a task to do a month back, but I don't know, somewhere I was like, stopping out myself. And when he, it was really best part, like, okay, he always pushed me up. Like, he used to tell me, he always tell me right now also that, Shima, you've got a Pahadi Awaz, then why do you stop yourself? So, like, he always used to motivate me. He used to always talk to me and make me the things, like, what are into me to come out of the things, like, where am I stopping myself? And that way, like, he always motivated me. And yes, I can say, like, okay, this week I took a step and I succeeded. So maybe we need to know, like, thank you so much. We need to know, like, what is into yourself and what is making the person to stop. I personally feel that. Thank
Absolutely. You so yep. Thanks, Shama.
And one more
Just,
thing,
yep, Palash.
I would like to add one more thing, that it depends on yourself, and until unless you won't try, you won't give it a try, you won't get to know that what you're lacking. So I feel that no one should give up anything until and unless you don't give at least one try. So not giving up, that attitude should be made in each and every person, that you should not give up at any situation.
Yep. Yeah,
I
correct.
also
Yes.
agree with a couple of points that people said, that people should be knowing what you lack. You also get to know when you try that what you lack, and also you can show example to the one who is not not accepting the task. To that person, you can also show some tasks, giving him an illustration of what people are achieving by doing this. He can be convinced enough to do that task.
Yeah, Palash, I
Because
agree to some of things which you say. I agree to some of the things which you say. You know what? But I have learned in coaching, and I think Kathy would agree to that too. One of the very important thing which I have learned, the word convincing. Yeah, and this is for everyone who is listening to me right now. Uh, I don't think that I'm here to convince someone to be here, to stay, to be coached, to do. I'm sorry, the word convince doesn't go with me. If I am here to convince, then there's.
I would just to clarify myself. I'm not saying that if someone doesn't want to be here, so you should convince that person. I mean to say that if he's having 70% of attitude of doing something, but he lacks the 30%, then I think just you just need to give a push, or some kind of convincement. You can convince him to make up that 30%, so that the 100% is post, or maybe can then give a try to it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I agree to what you are saying, or maybe I agree to the intention. So we have an intention. The intention is to create change at the higher level, right, Palash? So I agree to everyone to that intention, that we are here to create change. Yes. However, at the lower level, lower logical level, where I go into the how of it, I may choose a different way to create the change, wherein I do it in metaphor way or Milton way, or I just create a story which would challenge a person, and that person may not like me at times, which is absolutely okay for me to not to accept, and which was not okay before, which is okay now. So it is okay. And then playing around the NLP tools, which I've learned, like for example, Milton model, or doing a breakthrough with a meta question, a pattern. So I would rather do that. So I respect what you're saying. I wanted to say, Ekta has asked again. Thanks, Palash, and thanks everyone for adding on this point. This is very important. Ekta, you have asked me again to elaborate on what you said. I said that if I am not ready, supposing Ekta, you are my coach, If I am not ready to take up the task and you see it in my face that I'm not ready, and you collaborate, before you propose the task, you would make me ready with another task for me to be ready for doing a tasking. Okay? Is that clear now, Ekta? This is what I just said. All right? Okay. Growth comes at the yeah, Vinod. Yes, yes, lovely, nice. One of the quick thing to close this is important. When you have given the task, everything is done. One of the very important thing is to do a follow up for the task. It's crucial. As a coach, I have learned this. I may go wrong in giving the task, and there could be some difficulty with the person, which the person is facing, which I wasn't open to it before in my coaching discussion with the person. So the follow up and then identifying the missing more competencies in the representations, it really works. Kathy, would you like to add on with an example on the follow up? You have to unmute yourself.
To follow up, to calibrate, to be aware if the person has gained the competencies or not. In the case of Ridhima, she did the follow-up 6 months later, where she contacted me and said that it had worked.
Yep.
Done. Okay, I gave her her task. She went through the task, and then she came back to me saying that it worked. And okay. And if she said it didn't work, and I personally enjoy those more, I like it when it doesn't work because I want to find out what's missing. So I like to explore that part. I would create another task or do another technique in which what she was looking for or the intention of what she was doing would be satisfied. So in this case, pick up a phone, an email, ask the person when she finishes the task to come back to you, to do a description of what happened, if the goal has been achieved or not. So it's very important to close up all the loose ends, to make sure that the person is satisfied with the outcome.
Yep, absolutely. In this case, for example, I invite people who have taken up the task, like Shrikala and Sachin and others. Please give the report to us,
yes,
and let us know.
important.
Please inform us if it is working, and if it is not working, which means there is something else which is required there. Yep, it's very, very important point. Okay. All right. So on that note, the importance of tasking, which is the steps, I've made the steps clear. Any questions so far around it? We are already running at 8:37. I would like to tell all of you to please make sure you go on the link which the team has just sent it, so that you can have your own personal coaching booked, and we can play around the tasking for you if it is required. That's one of the things. All right. Any questions around tasking? Because there is a lot into NLP. Is this complete NLP? No.
Kathy and Ridhima, I have a question for you. Kathy, for you first, please.
Yep.
Sure.
Kathy, you remember that you were trying to learn Portuguese and it improved your vocabulary and pronunciation skills. How do you do it? For example, if there's a particular octave in a Bansuri which I'm not able to play, I do it. I remember it in the night, and tomorrow morning when the sun rises up, I said, yesterday I need to play the lower octave on this flute, right? So I consciously do it. How did you do it?
It was because being in the theater course, and I have the play we're doing here right now, and it's 45 pages long. And because I have to memorize my speech in correct Portuguese with the correct pronunciation, I've read this more than 100 times in the last 3 weeks. I've been practicing consistently with my friends who are doing the play with me, and we've been practicing it through Zoom. We've been reading, they've been correcting my Portuguese. And so I've read this play more than 100 times in the last 3 weeks, and I have fun with it.
Do you say to you every night the way I say that tomorrow I will practice this with my friend? Do you consciously put it on your brain the way? No.
No, not consciously. It's unconscious, because it's something that I love to do. That's why I always try to find something that the person loves to do. And I'll give this really quick example of a coachee of mine. He came to me, he's a surfer. He did surfing as a hobby. And he came to me and he wanted to keep his state when he went underwater. And I worked with him on some techniques. And in one of his sessions, he turns to me and goes, and I would also like to work my procrastination. And I looked at him and I said, procrastinating, you work out at the gym. You wake up every morning at 3:30 in the morning to go to the beach and surf. You travel to Spain almost every other weekend. You work hours from 10 to 5 in the afternoon in your office. You do Wim Hof. He does breathing techniques so he could keep his breath underwater. And I go, and you're telling me you procrastinate? And I'm going, what are you talking about? And he goes, oh, and then I asked him this. Do you like what you're doing when you say that you're procrastinating? And he goes, no, I don't. And I said, okay. We can give it a different meaning. That's different. We can give another meaning for that kind of work that you don't like so much. We can find a different way to make it more fun for you. We can make it we can create some metaphors. I don't know. But telling me that you procrastinate when you wake up at 4:30 in the morning every day to go to the beach and surf. I mean, so it's what when I do my tasking, I try to find something that they enjoy doing, so it can make it easier, and they hardly don't think about it. My intention when I did the theater course was not to learn Portuguese. I tried it other ways and I was unsuccessful. And interestingly enough, in these 2 years, I improved more than the other attempts I had when I would sit down on a table with a tutor in front of me, which I felt boring. And with the theater, I'm standing up, I'm moving, I'm doing the persona. I can do it funny, I could do it sad. I experiment talking extremely loud. I talk very low. I do it as a man, I do it as a woman. So I explore it in different ways, saying the phrase pronounced correctly. So my Portuguese people my close friends are going, wow, your Portuguese has improved. You're speaking better. And I go, yeah, I know, it's because of the theater course. If I had known this before, I would have done it earlier. Instead of
am I doing it wrong? Because the way I do it,
no, you're not. You're not. No.
We have different to myself. I sleep. I said carry forward from yesterday. Task completed today. To do for tomorrow. And the next day I open the same page, yesterday's page. So if I'm not able to play an octave before I sleep, I would play this by tomorrow morning by hook or crook. I give a deadline. Am I doing it wrong then?
No. By all means, no. Are you getting the result that you want?
Yes.
And you're doing it right for you.
Yes.
Each person's different. There are people who like to do things through music. There are people who like to do through physical education, through physical movement. There are people, I worked in the fitness industry for 20 years. Okay. I left last year. And I at this moment, I hate going to the gym to work out. So last year, 3 years ago, I started to do my workout doing parkour. Do you know what parkour is? It's with those kids that climb the buildings and roll off building tops, and it's sort of like free running. I don't know if you ever heard of free running. So I went to go, not that I'm good at it because I'm not, and I sprained my knee about a year ago. But for 3 years, I was having so much fun doing parkour because it had nothing to do with the gym, and I was still getting physically fit. Because I got bored with 20 years of gym. So it's finding, the intention was to keep fit. So I found something different. So that's just a different way to do things. Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Good. You're doing it right for you.
Absolutely, Dipender. It's just the way it works for you. Yep, and there is a structure to it. There are many people who have asked about exercises. I would like all of you to just think about how do you feel when you talk to yourself that I have to do or I want to do exercise. The moment you would find out the representations, how do you internally represent exercise to yourself? And there are so many come in and say, I have to do it.
Exactly.
You know, I have to. Just think about this. The moment you have the have to and replace it with the moment you say, I choose to do it, and collaborate, find out the shifts which happen to your body when you choose to do something instead of have to.
For example, yes.
Yes, that's one way.
Another thing I do with exercise, and I used to do it when I was working as a personal trainer, when people would come to me to the gym, I would say, do you want to come to the gym? And they'd go, no, not really. And I said, why don't you find out something that you like to do outside? Like go outside and work out.
Looking down.
Go hiking in the forest. Go to the beach and do laps on the beach because of the sand. You're working different muscles trying to balance yourself on the sand. So you get different physical competencies. So what I invite people to do is experiment different things.
Absolutely.
That will keep them fit.
The point is that if I am able to identify the higher intention,
which is being fit, for example.
Yeah. And
do I have to just go to the gym? Maybe not.
No.
Ridhima is doing boxing. I mean, who would say that?
Kickboxing, come on. Woo, woo, woo.
I'm not going
I'm just enjoying that. I'm enjoying that. That's Daniel Gatner and Gina Jenkins. I'm following and just amazing. I love their workouts. It's just amazing. So the point is, what are we trying to tell you is when you work around as a coach, if you work around in importance of classroom, there are many other things which we can cover around it. But the most important thing is knowing the clear intention and then creating a task which is to satisfy the intention and then chunking it down to filling up those missing competencies which is there. That's very, very important. So my invitation to all of you, if you think that there is something which is not working for you, ask yourself one question. What is the intention of this not working with me? Something which is not working with me. What is the intention? What will happen? What is the intention of it will working with me? And then what are the new 3 different ways in which I can do the same thing differently to satisfy the intention? Simple example of fitness. All right. There are many requests which is coming on my personal note as well. We will request all of you to have the personal coaching set for this because it's a very detailed discussion. Thank you so much, everyone, to come in. We will see you tomorrow with an exercise on reframing. It's an exercise. This was a discussion.